What's up, y'all? This is Brave, and I'm here to review The Real Housewives of Potomac. Yes, the ladies are finally back, and of course, they brought it. This is Season 7, Episode 1. Let's jump right into it. So we actually start off with two women that I did not expect to be hanging out with each other, and that was with Karen and Giselle. You know what? The one thing that I love about Karen and Giselle is that I like them when they're getting along, but I also like them when they're fighting. Like, when they fight each other, it doesn't really get too messy or they don't go too far. But then when they are getting along with each other, a lot of times they be on the same page. So I am feeling them so far getting along. But anyways, they're meeting in this park under the cherry blossoms. Like, I get it. It's a beautiful scenery. They're going to have a picnic with the other OGs. Of course, with Robin as well as Ashley. So, you already know Giselle likes to get to the mess. So, she starts to bring up Ashley's divorce. And Karen is like, I wonder how they even got to this place. And Giselle was like, she's married to that old white man, girl. How do you not see that that's a problem? But next thing you know, Robin shows up. First off, I'm about to start calling Robin Faith Evans because baby girl went from blonde to red on us. And you know what? I don't mind the red on Robin. I don't. Baby Faith, she's looking good this season so far. She shows up and she's looking good. You have Ashley who shows up. And now let's go ahead and get the drama started. So, we first start this conversation off about Mia, about her maybe having cancer, maybe not having cancer. We all don't know because throughout this entire episode, I got extremely confused. And I feel like I have good comprehension skills and I shouldn't be this confused. But nonetheless, the ladies are basically saying, either you have cancer or you don't. You don't really play around with, possibly having cancer because cancer is very serious. Like, that is not something that you play around with. So you have Karen trying to remain neutral because of course she likes Mia, and according to her, she would have went straight to Jesus. She wouldn't have been out here going to social media telling random people about what's going on in her personal life. Now, let's go ahead and flip this script to Ashley because this is where it gets real interesting for me. So the ladies are basically like, what made you come to this decision with Michael? She first started off with, it's because I don't drink anymore and he still drinks. I said, Ashley, stop playing with us. If you're going to tell it, go ahead and tell it all. So then it goes on to, we're not sexually compatible anymore because, he still wants to have threesomes and all this stuff. And she's not into it. I can't lie. In my honest opinion, I feel like she should have never introduced that into that relationship. But then it makes me wonder, do y'all think they've ever had a threesome that was two guys and a girl? Just curious. Just out of curiosity. Y'all think that ever went down with Ashley and Michael? Because I definitely think it has. But nonetheless, Michael still wants outside partners. But Ashley, since she's had the kids, she's grown up a lot. She mentioned that he's, still caring and that he's trying to help her buy this house, but it's going to be under an LLC that has both of their names. It's basically like a business, okay? They're basically putting both of their names on this house, to be honest. It's just like a partnership. And I'm just like, okay, I'm trying to get in the mindset of Ashley. She lives in a high-rise apartment right now, and she has 2 children by this man. So, if she gets a house with an LLC, is it that she still wants Michael to financially be responsible for housing his children? Or is it just because her funds aren't high enough? But she's been on this show for 7 seasons. So I definitely feel like this is her way of maybe making Michael have to pay for the house instead of her. I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this whole LLC buying a house situation. Of course, the ladies are giving her a major side eye, especially Giselle. Giselle will be on Ashley's ass about this house. I already know it. I will say that Karen spoke a word when she was like, listen, if he's trying to pull bones out your closet, you make sure you pull the whole skeleton, because divorces get messy. Now, I feel like Ashley is playing the game. Here's why. She has already mentioned how Michael has been very caring and very helpful within this divorce process, right? Okay, so if she stays on his good side, play nice, make sure that everything's good with them, I think she thinks that she will end up on top and be able to get more out of him, rather than things getting really messy and he becomes vengeful and then he starts moving assets. I think that's what's happening right here. But let's go ahead and jump on over to Candace and Chris. So, first off, these two, I don't know how long they're going to make it, y'all. I don't know how long they're going to make it, because he is over her. So, they're in the car or whatever, driving to the doctor's office, and we learn that she is actually going to be in the process of freezing her eggs. And I'm like, shout out to her, because that is one thing that I wish that I could financially do at this moment, just because that option is available. And it's actually a very smart decision for women, especially Black women, because y'all see how dating is out here. You don't want any and everybody to be your baby daddy. But that's a whole other story. But yeah, she wants to go ahead and freeze her eggs and get some embryos and get this, baby process sort of kind of rolling. Not that she's going to have a baby right now or soon, but just in case she wants to have a baby, she wants to at least have, embryos ready to go, which makes sense to me. So, we learned that she's actually re-releasing her album. I don't know why she's re-releasing it, but nonetheless, Candace has her music career. She has also been on tour with SWV as well as Faith Evans, and I'm just like, well, look at you. You're actually opening up for people who have talent. Like, if you're out here touring with SWV and Faith Evans, I cannot knock you, Candace. Go ahead and do your thing. But we get to this doctor's appointment, and basically, if you're going to be going through the IVF process, and I'm sorry, not IVF, the process of freezing your eggs, you have to get shots, right? And here comes the issue when it comes to Candace and her husband. So he now has a new job. He's not working from home anymore. He's now a general manager at like a hotel's restaurant lounge. I'm not really sure what the business is, but he's the general manager. So his schedule is kind of all over the place right now. But the doctor is like, well, you need to have consistency when it comes to this. Now, here's my question. Are we just freezing her eggs at this moment? Because if we're just freezing her eggs at this moment and you need consistency on getting shots, I'm sorry, Candace, anybody can give you the shot. It technically does not have to be your husband. And secondly, my issue with this is that Candace is really talking about how he doesn't have a consistent schedule. First of all, why are we having this conversation in front of the doctor? Because even after they left the doctor's office, the conversation continued in the car, and she's going on and on about he doesn't have a consistent schedule. You don't either if you out here touring. How are you touring and you want to go off on him about having a consistent schedule? That doesn't make sense, sweetheart. So I feel like Candace is full of it. She just wants Chris to be at her beck and call at all times. Now, when he was raising his voice at her and cursing, and then for her to curse right back at him, I said, you know what? Y'all need to be in counseling right now. We shall see, y'all, how long their relationship work, because I see it being really rocky, and it makes me nervous. But let's go ahead and move on to Robin, because she's meeting up with Charisse. Y'all, they have dug up Charisse yet again. She is back. So Charisse, according to Robin, is actually the real grande dame, because she really is like the mover and shaker of Potomac. She knows all the, high profile black women who are in Potomac, and she's friends with everybody. Versus Karen, who, I mean, I'm not sure why Karen wouldn't still have that title, but it's interesting for her to say that Charisse is like the real grand dame. The next thing you know, Charisse is asking, hey, Robin, like, when is, the wedding going to be? Girl, ain't gonna be no wedding. I feel like they gonna probably get married at the courthouse, and that is gonna be it for Robin and Juan. I don't see it for them having this big grand wedding unless Bravo is paying for it. I think that's why we don't have a date. We don't have a date for Robin's wedding because Bravo ain't paying for it. How about that? I think that's where we are with this. So, next thing you know, Robin talks about the prenup. She wants Juan to sign a prenup because when he was in the NBA, she had to sign a prenup. However, she still fucked him over because she's the one who messed the money up. So for her to be like, I don't think, he deserves half of what I'm making. That's because you're the breadwinner now. But also, I feel like in your situation, Robin, honestly, sure, you can have a prenup, but there should be a way that Juan receives something from you because you fucked his money up. Like, let's be honest here. And then Charisse was like, wait a second, you don't believe that a person should get half. So you mean to tell me you don't think that I should have gotten half of what Eddie owed me? And she's like, no. Now, you guys, I cannot remember the exact situation with Charisse and her divorce. Because if y'all remember, that season 1 when Charisse was on Potomac, she didn't really get to go into detail about her divorce. But wasn't that Eddie was like cheating on her with a bunch of women and stuff? Yeah, he owed her that money. What are we talking about? I just think it's hilarious that of all people, Robin, who screwed her ex-husband's money up, is like, nah, he can't get none of my money. My money's mine. You gotta watch people like Robin. You gotta watch them. Actually, usually you have to watch people named Robin. They a little sneaky. That's all I'm gonna say. Let's go ahead and move on to the next scene. So we hop on over to Mia and Gordon. They have just moved to Potomac. They're paying $10,000 a month in a house that's down the block from Karen. And they're having a family get-together. We do see her mom. One thing that I will say is that when Mia's mom was asking her about her health, I got, again, even more confused about what is going on with Mia, because she started talking about how basically the doctors don't know what is going on. It's a disease. They didn't find something in her lungs. She's getting lumps everywhere. I'm absolutely confused. Y'all let me know if y'all can, make out what she's trying to say, because it sounds like it's all over the place. I need for Mia to get her story straight when it comes to this whole cancer situation. Now, Karen ends up showing up to this family affair, and, she's meeting Mia's family. We also learned that Karen got a boob job, which I was like, okay, Karen, why are we still going underneath the knife at this big age? I think you look fine, but, Karen's going to do what she wants to do. So the thing that got me was that when they went to go sit down, Karen and Mia, and Karen is basically like, listen, I understand that you went to social media to, talk about this, and I'm going to need for you to realize that you're on a show with these type of girls, and they're going to question everything that you do, which is absolutely true. And that's absolutely what Giselle is doing. And she's like, I don't care what these girls think. I said, okay, Mia, we gonna see how you gonna handle Giselle later. And y'all, here comes another blast from the past, just on a different franchise. You have Wendy meeting up with Peter Thomas. I said, look at Peter. Peter, I'm sorry, that reminds me of Nene so much. But Wendy goes to meet up with Peter because she wants to open up a Nigerian lounge. I said, okay, cool for you. I guess you wanted to meet up with Peter because he's had lounges and bars before. Okay, cool. Now, I don't understand how Wendy wanted to go from a Nigerian lounge to an after school program for the kids. She talking about it can have a library with black authors, and it can have books and this and that, and the kids can come from 2 to 4. Girl, this place serves alcohol. How you gonna have kids in there? Cut it out. And secondly, that sounds like a whole different building. That is a whole separate idea. If you want to create a facility where kids can go, like a recreation center, I think that's absolutely amazing. I actually like that idea more than a lounge, but which one is actually going to make you money? Probably the lounge. Now, at first, this was Wendy's idea, and Wendy wanted to open up a lounge. By the end of this conversation, this was Peter's lounge. She was only going to own about 20%. And let's be honest, she did not have the money that he was talking, because he started running numbers and Wendy was like, I can't afford this. Like, in her mind, I know she was calculating how she cannot afford this. Like, girl, how many candles are you even selling? You know what I realized? Wendy is just like Contessa from Married to Medicine. They both, every season, they are running to do something different, doing something else, opening up a business. Oh, I need to do a fitness competition. This, that, another. Always trying to do one or another thing instead of focusing on, like, what, their family, the actual jobs that they currently have. I'm telling you, you gotta watch Wendy. You gotta watch her. But I don't think this is going to be happening for her anytime soon. This Nigerian lounge, considering he said she would have to put in, what was it, $300,000? $300,000 in my needy voice. And on top of that, she wouldn't even be seeing any profit for 12 to 18 months. Girl, find something else to do. Go sell your candles. Go teach a class. Go do something else, because this is not for you. Now, we jump on over to Ashley. She visited, her family. It's her Uncle Lump. Her mom was there. I wish her mom would have waxed that mustache before she got on camera. But you know what? Ashley mama don't ever care how she look when she gets on this camera. But the whole point of this whole scene was Uncle Lump trying to figure out what is wrong with Ashley. That was the whole point, because she gets over there and you can clearly see that Michael is still in control of their relationship, because she's like, she's supposed to get half because her prenup is over. Her prenup was only for if they made it to year 5. She made it to year 8. So she actually is supposed to be getting half. And her uncle is like, okay, so where's your lawyer? You're like, what's going on? She's like, oh, I don't have a lawyer. Michael's going to write up a proposal. I'm sorry, you think that Michael is going to write up a proposal that's going to benefit you? Ashley, come on, I need you to think a little bit smarter. I need you to figure it out. So then, her mom ends up asking her, like, so whose name is going to be on the house? So she gives him the LLC story. The uncle is over it. Uncle Lump is over it, okay? And he's like, girl, what kind of life are you living? Baby, when he said that took me out. It took me out. I fell out. When he was like, what kind of life are you living? AKA, Ashley, if you don't get a brain up there, like, I know you married this money you married this money. You married this man because he had money. But if you're going through a divorce, make sure you can, be taken care of, girl. Like, I really hope that throughout this divorce process, Ashley ends up on top, because it would suck if Ashley ends up actually losing more to what she is actually owed, playing around with Michael. But let's move on. So we next get a scene with Giselle and her daughters. Honestly, there wasn't much to this scene besides us seeing how old her daughters are getting. They're like really growing up. And also Giselle showing off her tacky fashion, because she was trying to find something to wear for Karen's event, her spring party. And Giselle was being Giselle, picking stuff out of her closet that probably should go to the Clark sisters. And oh yeah, also we saw more of her house. I guess her house is finally completed. It looks better, but it doesn't look good. Now let's go ahead and move on. So now we get to Karen's soiree, her spring fling, or spring into spring. whatever the name of her party is. And I will say Karen looks good in her Fendi blazer. You know, Karen is always trying to one up the girls. I must say, the venue looks nice. Unfortunately, it wasn't, exactly what Karen wanted because she wanted to be an open space. But the weather was not allowing that. But nonetheless, we have a conversation with Karen and Giselle because Giselle got there first. So they're talking about how their daughters are getting older, blah, blah, blah. Giselle isn't even interested in that conversation. She's ready to get to the drama. So she's like, let's talk about Ashley. I don't think Ashley wants to get a divorce. Now, Karen's perspective is, no, I think that Ashley's playing the game and she's realized that Michael doesn't want to move out of that, apartment that they have. He wants to stay up there, even though when they did that flash to what their apartment looks like and they had all those kids' toys stacked up, I said, yeah, they need a house. So if this is the way for Ashley to get the house, then, Ashley's trying to do what's best for her kids. So as they're having this conversation, here comes Ashley. I will say, Ashley looks really, really good. She tells the ladies, that she's found a house and she's put in an offer, of course, in that LLC. And the ladies are like, what are you doing? Because if you're going through a divorce, why would you get a place with a man that you're divorcing? Now, I will say this is the one time that I will side with Giselle because she's making all the sense. Like, it doesn't make sense for you and this guy who's about to be your ex to go into a business together, because that's what an LLC is for. It's for a business, to go in business together so that you can get a house. It doesn't make sense at all. And the crazy part about it is that Giselle was so into this conversation that she says, I wouldn't do that with Jamal, and Robin did not do that with Juan. Robin is the only name that's on that house. I said, oh, look at you telling your bestie business. Why are you telling your best friend business like this, Giselle? I guess she was in the moment. Now, here's the thing that got me. When basically Ashley was saying how she was craving for Michael, and I'm just like, girl, you crave for that? You crave for Michael and his worms? Ew. So, they're just like, please don't say that you slept with Michael, because then that has to start the separation process all over. She's like, no, I didn't sleep with him, or whatever. And at this point, I feel like Ashley is looking like a lost cause because she's all over the place. Ashley is all over the place when it comes to this divorce. Now, what got me was when Karen was like, let me break this down for you. You may not have Michael's coins, but you have money now. So I get that you're doing the best for your kids, but his name shouldn't be on the deed. And when she said that, that did kind of make me think, Ashley, why do you need Michael's money for a house? Because you've been on Potomac the Housewives of Potomac for 7 seasons now. You gotta be making some good money. So either you trying to buy some type of mega mansion or something ain't adding up. Because even if she needed to rent a house, her house doesn't have to be as big as Mia's. But if Mia is paying 10 grand, I know you can find something that's like 6 grand, 7 grand that's livable so that you can separate from Michael. Yeah, something ain't right with this situation. So next thing you know, Candace arrives. Ashley ends up stepping away, and Giselle catches Candace up on like the divorce and all that stuff. Now what's weird is that Candace is like, "Ooh, I want to throw the divorce party." And it's like, girl, I thought you didn't even like Ashley. So why are you so happy? Nonetheless, one person who arrived who I said, dang, she looks really good, is Escala. Escala looks great every time that we see her. And I kind of wish that, she would have been a housewife, but that didn't happen. She's still a friend of the show. Wendy and her husband, they show up. And Wendy went out of her way to go say hi to Giselle. And baby, why did Giselle diss her like that? She was just like, no hugs, no touching, no touching. And I can't lie, it was giving Nene and Kenya. Y'all remember that time that Kenya kept trying to say hi to Nene and Nene was not here for it? That's what it was giving. All right. The party's still going on. Here comes Mia and her husband. When I tell you Giselle beelined straight to Mia. I mean, Mia wasn't even in the place for 2 minutes. Here comes Giselle. Oh, hey, is this what Cancer No Cancer looks like? I said, oh my God. We are starting off episode 1 with the foolishness. So they're going back and forth, and you already know Giselle is stirring the pot, and Mia is like going off on her about how she got a call from her doctor, she had cried with her family, all this stuff, and it ends with Mia telling Giselle, fuck you. I said, oh, and that's a way to end it. Now, please continue to watch my reviews, you guys, when it comes to Housewives of Potomac. And I'm going to be adding a few more shows to my roster of things to review. If you like my content, go ahead and like and subscribe to my channel. And I will talk to y'all in the next one. Bye, guys.